Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So, today we're diving into this deeply resonant story called The Guardian of the Empty Well. We're going to be unpacking the hidden and, honestly, sometimes really dangerous costs of boundless compassion. If you've ever felt just completely drained by trying to be a quote unquote good person, you're definitely going to want to stick around for this. Let's just get right into the story.
Okay, picture this. Imagine a single candle. It's incredibly kind, right? It spends its entire existence burning just to provide light for others. It's warming cold souls, it's guiding lost travelers. It is completely selfless. But there is a tragic inevitability here. When that candle finally needs light for itself, there is absolutely nothing left. Literally just smoke and silence. It's the ultimate representation of giving until you literally cease to exist.
So, I gotta ask, have you ever felt exactly like that melting candle? Like, do you keep pouring your time and your emotional bandwidth into others, all while running completely on empty yourself? Because so many of us are conditioned to believe that self-sacrifice is the ultimate virtue. That exhaustion is basically just the price of admission for being a good friend or a dedicated parent or an amazing employee. We've been tricked into thinking a quick bubble bath is self-care, when what we actually need are firm boundaries. As we'll see, that hidden feeling of burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's a blaring alarm bell. Which brings us to Amara, a young woman living in this quiet village surrounded by dry mountains. Her whole life basically revolves around the ancient well at the center of town. Every single morning, Amara is there. An old man is tired, she physically carries his bucket. A mother is struggling, she just gives away her own water. Thirsty travelers show up, she empties her jar for them without a second thought. On paper, it sounds absolutely beautiful, doesn't it? She is the ultimate helper, tirelessly serving everyone around her. But then, a moment of profound clarity arrives from literally the most unexpected source. One incredibly hot afternoon, a little boy walks up to her and just asks, "Miss Amara, why does your house look so empty if you help everyone else live beautifully?" Wow, it's such a piercing, innocent observation. Kids really do have this superpower for seeing right past our carefully constructed facades, don't they? Amara forces a smile, but the question hits her hard. She's been so incredibly busy decorating everyone else's lives that her own home is completely barren. And this perfectly illustrates the massive disconnect that happens when we overextend ourselves. Externally, the villagers praise her nonstop. They say Amara is the kindest soul among us, and hearing that, it creates this dopamine loop where she just gives more to sustain the praise. But internally, her own garden is dying. The flowers she used to love are brittle and gray. Her hands literally tremble from the sheer exhaustion of it all. Her external reputation is thriving, sure, but her actual, lived reality is just crumbling. So that night, she can't sleep, and Amara visits the well all alone. And what she sees is absolutely terrifying. The water level has nearly vanished. The ancient well itself, the actual source of life for the village and the focal point of all her relentless giving, is running dry. It's this physical manifestation of Amar's own internal depletion. The dread she feels looking down into that dry well, it's the sudden, terrifying realization of her own impending burnout. Suddenly, out of the shadows steps this old keeper of the well. He lowers a bucket into the shallow mud and delivers an absolute truth bomb. He tells her, "This well was never meant to feed the entire world without rest, and neither were you." Talk about a massive paradigm shift. Amara's entire worldview is built on the idea that helping others is unequivocally good, no matter the personal cost, but the old keeper is stepping in to totally dismantle this destructive belief. When Amara, her voice cracking, asks him if helping others isn't a good thing, the old keeper just smiles, sadly. He tells her, compassion without boundaries becomes self-destruction. Just let that sit heavily for a second. We so often equate saying no with being cruel, right? But boundless compassion just isn't sustainable. Without walls, without limits, compassion turns inward and slowly destroys the giver. And this sets up his ultimate pragmatic truth. A dry well cannot save the thirsty. It's a fundamental law of physics. He points up to the mountains, reminding her that even rivers must pause to refill from the rain. You simply cannot give what you do not have. Just like the river, we have to allow ourselves structured periods to pause, receive, and actually restore our own resources. Standing there before that dying well, Amara has this massive psychological breakthrough. She realizes she had spent so much time proving her worth to others that she completely abandoned herself. For years, she equated love with sacrifice and goodness with sheer exhaustion. And connecting this right back to her own lives, this is incredibly validating. Seeking external approval through relentless self-sacrifice isn't heroism at all. It's honestly just a form of self-abandonment. So, the very next morning, Amara implements a completely new, sustainable framework for living. Step 1, she still helps the villagers for sure, but never at the cost of her own survival. Step 2, she actually rests when she's tired. Wild, right? And step 3, she finally tends to her own dying garden. She learned to explicitly tell people, I cannot pour from an empty soul. And realistically, at first, people complained. They straight up called her selfish. But listen, that is exactly what happens when you start setting boundaries with people who are used to just taking from you. But she stuck to those boundaries. And over time, something really beautiful happens. Because she finally prioritized her own care, her garden bloomed brighter than ever before. Simultaneously, the village wells slowly refilled with clean, deep water. By taking care of herself, the kindness she offered actually changed. It became genuine and robust instead of strained and painful. Think about this complete shift in energy sources. The old Amara was like that candle from the beginning, burning itself to death, providing light but destroying its own physical form in the process. The new Amara became like the sun, warm, steady, and seemingly endless. A candle is consumed by its own fire. The sun sustains itself. This is the monumental difference between self-erasure and generating actual self-sustaining energy. So, synthesizing everything we've uncovered today, here are the core rules for sustainable compassion. 1. Real kindness is not self-erasure. 2. You were never created to destroy yourself simply to gain the approval of others. 3. Rest is absolutely not a selfish act. It is a biological requirement. 4. Setting boundaries is not cruelty. And 5. Choosing yourself sometimes is absolutely not a weakness. I want to leave you with a question to really sit with right now. What will you do today to refill your own well? Because the people who shine the longest in this world are not the ones who burn themselves away for everyone else. They are the ones who deliberately learn how to refill their own reserves. Remember, even the strongest soul needs water too. Take a moment today to look at your own garden, set a boundary, and let the rain back in. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.